Hello and welcome everybody to Join the League season number 3. We are HeflaTV of course, and we're just proud to bring you the season 2 finals, which are finally happening. Unbelievable. We're already halfway through season 3 and finally the season 2 final is there, but it's gonna be HEHE United versus MYM Makers. Should be an epic best of 3 series. My name of course is Coucher and I am joined by Mike Loris.
We have a couple of interesting people in this game. I'm pretty sure Meet Your Makers for the duration of Season 2 were playing with a different lineup and then they got shuffled and now they're playing the finals, so that's always a little bit awkward. But if you take note, then you will see someone who is recently released from Fnatic. Ira is going to be standing in right now for Meet Your Makers.
Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be a major source of hype for a lot of people and lots of gossip gonna go around because of it probably.
Yeah, Ira to MYM definitely is confirmed off of this game, without a doubt.
Can't be overlooked, but looking at the bans, Meet Your Makers, they have started with an IO ban, so HEHE, I haven't casted them for a long time, but they do like that hero. I saw in chat as well some people saying like, ban IO and you'll be golden. So just respect bans straight out of the ban, and of course that leaves a lot of strong heroes in the pool if you ban out different heroes, so might be seeing some interesting picks that we otherwise just see banned out immediately.
Yeah, HEHE are going to be the ones banning out the Lycan, but with the Shadow Shaman ban after that Wisp, there are still some really powerful heroes, and I think, I'm just calling it right now, I'm going to say Razor first pick for MYM, because HEHE are going to be banning out the Brewmaster. That's my prediction, and it'll probably come to pass, although Skywrath Mage, Faceless Void, there are the Doombringer, there are still some really potent heroes in the draft right now, and it's going to be Doom banned out.
Ha! You were wrong, bam! But you may still be right with the picks. And if it's like a Razor, actually they go for Skywrath, so Razor
just retire.
Can be picked up by HEHE, as can the Faceless Void. I thought like if it's gonna be a Razor, it's gonna be almost immediately countered by like Faceless Void, Skywrath Mage probably. But now the Brewmaster, the Faceless Void, as well as the, I don't know, I said one more hero, I completely forgot it already. Razor, right, yo. So any of those heroes can be picked up, or they can go for something different altogether. Like some teams still prefer the Viper as the first 2 picks, maybe even an Ancient Apparition, or I mean, no, anything they really just want.
Possibly a Death Prophet even. It's a hero that we've been seeing occasionally picked up in the first round. It gives you a whole lot of mid-game aggression just with that one hero pick. But, I mean, I actually have not casted HEHE before, and I've only casted MYM, like, way before, like, when they had completely different comp, because Meet Your Makers have been kind of shuffling their lineup for the past however long they've been in Dota. They've been kind of always had that problem with keeping a stable lineup, so don't really know if they do favor, if HEHE do favor these like weird picks, though. I mean, with the Wisp first ban, you kind of expect they would go for a little bit of something that's not traditional.
Yeah, I mean, I think they used to actually run like an IO Gyrocopter quite often, if I'm not mistaken here. I mean, it's a potent enough combination, I guess, and doesn't rely too much on just getting the relocate ganks going, just being annoying on the lane and whatnot. But Earthshaker is the first pick for HEHE at the moment. And actually, I myself haven't casted either team for a long time as well. The same case with you, Meet Your Makers, I casted them way back when. I think it was during Season 2, but I only was able to cast one game of Baby Knight, it was in June or something. And he played a mid lane Doombringer, and the first time he got a point into Devour was like at level 9 or 10 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, to be fair, mid lane Doom does operate a little bit differently than a side lane Doom or a jungling Doom, but Devour is a pretty good skill.
But it actually worked out wonders for him, just maxing out level def and score surf. He completely harassed whatever enemy he was up against out of the lane and just dominated that matchup. But never mind that, it's in the past, we're in this game now, and Razor was the secondary pick for HEHE. So no crazy just combos or out of the ordinary picks coming yet.
That Razor pickup means that Faceless Void is still in the pool, and well, oftentimes we do see teams with their first 2 picks pick up Skywrath Mage, Faceless Void if they're not picking first. So Meet Your Makers are getting a pretty big bone thrown to them, as they do pick up a Razor, incredibly potent hero in its own right, but they give a little bit of synergy over towards Meet Your Makers if they do want to go for that. And HEHE with the Earthshaker first, the real premier supports, I would say the big 3 are out in the Skywrath Mage, Earthshaker, and the Shadow Shaman, and yes, it's going to be a Faceless Void. Who could have possibly seen that one coming?
Yeah, I think it's just probably too good of a hero to pass up, especially if you already have the Skyref Mage. So we might be looking at more wombo combo to come. HEHE, of course, they have 2 bans left. They can either dedicate it to just ban out, like maybe Ancient Apparition and Invoker, probably the 2 more common heroes. But Skyref Mage and Ancient Apparition, they're actually not maybe the scariest support duo by themselves because of their roaming. Or, I mean, yes, the concussive shot, the slow might be enough, but a little bit iffy. And of course, heroes like a Tidehunter can still be picked by either side. I mean, Meteor Makers, do you think the Faceless Void is going to be more of an offlane one or just safe lane farm?
It's hard to tell right now because I mean, they don't have anything to really contest the Faceless Void as of right now. I mean, the Earthshaker is something, but can't really build a lane with just Earthshaker, so it could go either way. Shot in the dark, I'm saying Meteor Maker is going to put this Faceless Void in the safe lane and going to try to secure this guy some farm, but we see a couple more powerful heroes being banned out now. Pugna getting rid of some push from Meteor Makers, whereas HEHE going to take out that Brewmaster. Though they do get first pick after this ban phase, they could have picked that one up and probably would have been a little bit happy with that.
Yeah, it may be an indication of how they want to lane this. As I mean, they already have other plans in mind as far as just either safe lane or mid lane farming goes. And to be honest, if it should be now an offlane Faceless Void and a Razor safe lane, the good thing about just having such a dominant 1v1 hero like a Razor, especially against Faceless Void, is that it completely frees up your support to roam around endlessly almost, since you can guaranteed know that the Razor is going to win his matchup anyway. As they ban out the Centaur, so actually taking out an offlaner, so they also believe that this Faceless Void is going to be a safe lane farming one. But HEHE now, will they reveal why they actually banned out the Brewmaster themselves and not going for it?
I would have thought for sure that Centaur or Tidehunter would have gotten through. I mean, usually the UDC bans occasionally on these heroes, but oftentimes one of them does slip through, and it would have been a really great hero for really either side to pick up, but those really tanky offlaners are currently off the table, so we'll see what these teams want to do in order to compensate for that. You could always go for a little bit of softer hero, Viper, still in the pool, and Viper could do something very similar to what you're talking about with Razor. If it's just Viper versus Faceless Void, then Faceless Void is going to get absolutely stomped in that lane, and then of course it'll free the HEHE supports to go and do whatever it is they want to do with Razor holding down the mid lane. But for now, HEHE are going to be picking up the Mirana with the Earthshaker combo. Not the best to set up arrows, but if they pick up another stun, then they'll be pretty capable.
Yeah, it's a solid pickup overall. Of course, usually the Moonlight Shadow is just an excellent way to escape, but if the Faceless Void is just spot on with his Chronosphere positioning, that breaks the Moonlight Shadow, or I mean, it doesn't dispel it, but you can still see Invis units in it. But now, Death Prophet the pick for Meteor Makers, that's going to be even more external damage now going into the Chronosphere, of course. A hero that also provides them just more team fight in general and a great amount of push as well.
Against the push, though, HEHE do have a couple of tools in order to defend against that. They have Fissure, Plasma Field, plus Mirana with everything that she has. So Death Prophet, she doesn't exactly have the most sustain as far as her teammates are concerned. Like, so far there's no great mech carrier from the MYM side. So as far as using Exorcism to try to slow push down towers, it's going to be pretty ambitious for Meteor Makers because they'll be forced to deal with so much long range spam of fissures and plasma fields and whatnot, and he can, well, now with a Viper pickup, can easily jump in and just go for it. So I think HEHE right now, they just have purely stronger lanes.
Yeah, they just have extremely solid heroes, and to be honest, this Mirana can still be either a support one or maybe even offlane if they want to, or the off chance that they're going for an aggressive tri lane, Mirana can just as easily solo safe or maybe even mid lane. And I just really love overall, if you're drafting so flexible, it also puts your enemy just kind of on the spot to be able to guess the lanes and just predict and draft accordingly. But Meteor Makers now, I totally had one hero in mind which I lost my thought in, man. I have no clue. Just brain farting all around. But it's their 4th pick, and do you see anything particular coming out by them?
Well, if they do want to go for a little bit more push, then something like the Invoker could be a pretty decent pickup. Going for an Enigma, never mind. They're probably not going to go for Enigma. There's just way too much pressure early on, so they need a little bit more active supports. They're actually going to go for an Ember. I love Ember Spirit, but I don't think this is the game for him. He's going to match up either against Viper or Razor, and either way, he's going to not have a fun time.
Oh yeah, he's most likely not, of course. At the moment, I do believe they're running it as a safe lane Ember. I would guess with Death Prophet mid lane and Faceless off lane. In that case, he should be able to just get a pretty nice amount of farm, unless he go for an aggressive tri-lane of some sort. And, well, Ember, if he's in the mid lane against Razor and Viper, I have to agree with you, it's just not a favorable matchup against either of those heroes. But if they run into safe lane, it should be fine.
It does help MYM get some sort of initiation with Ember Spirit jumping in or using his Sleight of Fist to try to chain someone down, though. As of right now, HEHE with the Mirana, with the Earthshaker, they have some pretty decent initiation. I mean, Meteor Makers do have the jump-in Faceless Void Chronosphere, but again, HEHE's lineup is fairly tanky. Razor, Viper, both agility heroes, but do typically build towards very tanky roles with, I would expect, whoever's going to the mid lane to pick up the mech, though, again, Viper and Razor, I'm kind of predicting them to go into the top lane and mid lane, one or the other, it doesn't really matter. And then HEHE are going to try to run an aggressive tri-lane, because right now, MYM, they're down one support, and HEHE should have a pretty powerful lane with Mirana, Earthshaker, and then one last.
Yeah, and actually at the moment, the clockwork being banned out by Meteor Makers is that HEHE, if they want to go for a safe lane tri-lane, they're gonna have to just get, I don't know, whatever hero is an offlaner. I mean, Centaur, Doombringer, and Darkseer, I guess, that fits. I mean, not the most synergy. I guess you can vacuum people into Echo Slam or just Fissures or what have you. And overall, just an elusive hero, but I guess there were really no other options here anymore.
This Darkseer pickup means that the Mirana and Earthshaker are going to be, of course, playing support and probably going to be very aggressively roaming the map. The problem is, of course, Earthshaker, when he's at low levels of Fissure, the stun duration isn't that high, so it's hard to get a guaranteed setup for a decent-sized stun arrow with an Earthshaker Mirana combo, especially since Darkseer, Viper, and Razor, none of them actually have any stuns. So getting this arrow set up for HEHE is going to be a little bit of a challenge. However, if they do, then the heroes that are in lane, Razor, Viper, and Darkseer, will definitely be able to contribute enough damage to kill off whoever is stunned, but the hard part is just landing that arrow to begin with. Yeah,
it definitely will be hard. Maybe they have a Mirana player that's like Chuan style, lands almost every single arrow randomly with no setup, but actually one thing that he have going for them is that the Darkseer, when he goes, he can search up the Earthshaker, so Earthshaker can just run in like a boss and Echo Slam, but the Enigma still came out in the end. I was also thinking as the fourth pick, actually, that was the hero that I couldn't remember anymore. I was like, maybe Enigma, but that gives them more pushing power, of course, a lot more team fight. But if HEHE, they just group as a 5, maybe even smoke and go through the NM jungle, ward up most of it, since warding the Radiant jungle is a lot easier than actually warding the entirety of the Dire jungle. So we'll see if HEHE just want to invest some wards into it.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Enigma pick, I believe I said it after the Faceless Void, so the third pick for the Enigma, but he did end up coming out, and this is, I mean, I like Enigma also, but it's kind of the same situation as Ember Spirit. He's used to being in the jungle, he needs his space. When he does that, you're reliant on your dual lane of Skywrath Mage and either Ember or Faceless Void to be functional, but up against Darkseer with a roaming Mirana, Earthshaker, possibly a Viper, it's going to be hard for those two heroes to actually get some traction in lane, because the Enigma, as a support, is played very passively in the jungle, or at least compared to other supports. So MYM, they're going to be really hurting in the lanes, but if they could get through that initial laning phase, then they'll be able to push really hard come mid-game.
Yeah, indeed they will, and thank God that Meteor Makers doesn't have a melee support up against Darkseer. This kind of mage definitely can just put a lot of pressure on the Darkseer, regardless of the Ion Shell or not. And even just having the base movement speed, being able to outrun the Darkseer himself. I mean, at least that's going for Meteor Makers, but one hero will always struggle just keeping Darkseer completely out of XP range, I think. But they are just grouped up as 5, and we might even see early action here.
Alright, so HEHE, they're all in the jungle. They have a very long range initiation with the Fissure. I don't think they're going to be finding anyone, possibly Enigma, but I think they're just going to take this time to lay down a couple of wards in the enemy jungle, make sure Enigma has a little bit of a tougher jungling route. They place an Observer Ward, which I don't believe blocks this camp, but it will keep tabs on it at the very least, and then, of course, Sentry Ward to block off the hard camp. So they will make this Enigma's life a little bit difficult. But before we get into any more of that, let's go over who's playing what. We have on the MYM side Top side is going to be the Faceless Void, played by Ace. Ira, the stand-in previously from Fnatic, is going to be on the Death Prophet mid lane, is going to be on the Enigma jungling. Rise is going to be supporting as a Scarab Mage, and Baby Knight is going to be on the Ember Spirit.
And for HEHE, Nihis, up on the darks are actually completely being in the safe lane instead, so they will run an aggressive tri lane. Mid lane will be taken up by... I have no clue who it is. It's just a bunch of boxes to me at least. So he's playing on the Viper, leaving Chip Cyan on the Mirana, Fire to play the Earthshaker, and Blue Banana up on the Razor. So that leads me to believe that it's HWA Hava on the Viper.
Yeah, I guess you just have... He does have like a weird font thing going on, so I guess your computer is just misinterpreting that just a little bit, but it is indeed HWA. So he's going to be going toe-to-toe with Era. This should be a fairly even lane. Viper, once he gets 1 or 2 points in that Nether Toxin, or Corrosive Skin, is going to be just fine for all the harassment. And already we see the Mirana just slowly messing with the Enigmas. Actually secured a couple of those Eidolon kills, so Enigma's life is definitely going to be very tough. I think this might be a game where you say, Enigma, you're not going to get anything in our own jungle. You should probably go into the enemy's jungle.
Yeah, it might be the best idea, and actually he's already rotating there as well, unless he wants to do some just ancient farming, but doesn't look like it. And the good thing is that they don't have any wards to actually spot out the movements as well and plan. Even gonna find himself an illusion rune to just speed up the jungling process.
I also like this kind of a lane rotation that we see from HEHE. I mean, at least from what we predicted. Razor's going to be on the bottom lane. For right now, it's just going to be duel with him and Fire, handling up against the dual lane of MYM. But that, of course, means that we have the Darkseer up on top.
Oh, the arrow lands mid lane. Era might be in a lot of trouble. 5-second arrow coming out. Hava just putting on the hurt with the poison attack level 2. One Crypt Form comes out, but in the end, Chip Cyan, he's the one to pick up first blood.
Well, as you said before, if you have a Mirana player that just lands all the arrows, then it doesn't matter what setup you have. Right now on the top lane, there's another chain's going for Blue Banana, but Rise is going to get fissured and take so much damage. This Razor doesn't have any static link damage, so he's going to get burned down slowly by Baby Knight's shield. Baby Knight should be able to secure this kill, and he does with one more sword swipe. He has chains coming up shortly. Fire, though, pretty healthy. Rise drops pretty low, so he might be forced to base, but actually here comes Mirana with an arrow, free-handed onto Rise. That's 2 for 2 for the Mirana. Baby Knight on his way out. He's pretty healthy, does have a shield in 10 seconds. He'll be just fine. But he eventually make that trade happen, though they do lose the Razor.
Yeah, I mean, really well done overall. Of course, it's never good to just give any kills away to an Ember Spirit, but considering that they got the kill mid lane and just the Mirana made a nice rotation, landed yet another arrow, so 2 for 2 so far, 100%. That's some pretty good accuracy if you ask me.
Yeah, it's not bad, and if he could continue landing these arrows, then this bottom lane is going to get a lot tougher for Baby Knight. I mean, up against a Razor, it wasn't going to be fun to begin with. He's already really down on the CS. In the meantime, top lane, no first hit bash from Ace. Fortunately for this Darkseer, he does get to walk back to his tower, but another arrow must have landed. Yes, it did on Baby Knight. Holy crap, Mirana. That was arrow into fissure, not fissure into arrow. Mirana is on fire.
Man, those pro plays coming out, Chips just making, like, literally all 3 kills are thanks to him at the moment. But top lane, Nihis just got out because the Enigma, he had the clarity on him, but still was lacking like 5 mana from his Malphites. With the Malphites probably would have been enough with the time walk slow in addition. But not to be, and now Nihis got himself the Soul Ring as well, so can make Ace's life literally a living hell, because being a melee hero up against Ion Shell is never a fun time.
Darkseer does have to respect the potential rotation in, and oh, 4th arrow does miss on Era. So that's a 75%, I believe. But yeah, the Darkseer does have to respect the possibility for Enigma to come in, get that Malphus, and then just be Chrono Spirit or whatever. But until that happens, the Soul Ring Darkseer is going to keep pumping out those Ion Shells, which means the Faceless Void is, well, currently out of regeneration, though he does have a Mask of Death. It's not going to help him enough against these level 3 now Ion Shells. Another arrow gets thrown towards the mid lane, so... Chip, you're starting to lose your arrow percentage, but hell, as long as one of those arrows lands eventually, that's another kill on Ira.
Yeah, and of course, you just throw out the arrow, and even that already in itself, even if it misses, applies some pressure mentally to whichever lane you're trying to harass at the same time. Just knowing that the Mirana can still be around and just go for an arrow like 20 seconds after, you have to play a little bit more defensively, of course. And no setup, it's going to be hard, especially if you're trying to fish for those long 5-second arrows.
You really don't want to be playing super defensively against Viper when he's, before level 6. You want to play defensively against Viper when he is level 6, because at that point he could just go in and kill you.
But top
But
lane,
until then, you want to be pressuring.
he's in a lot of trouble. The Eidolons are coming in. Can he actually search himself out, Ace? Might be in some trouble as well, but now Nihis comes in. All the Eidolons are right-clicking away. Actually, he can maybe get a few kills. So he got a little bit of farm, but in the end just fell down as he got overwhelmed.
He had 2 ion shells there for a little bit. If those 2 ion shells stayed up, then it definitely would have been at least 1 kill for the Darkseer. But Darkseer with only Stout Shield to give him sustain as an Era does get tagged with an arrow plus a Viper Strike. This is a dead Death Prophet though. Rise is coming in. It's a little bit too late. It's another kill for Viper on this mid lane as Chip is, I'd say about 70-ish% on those arrows. So he's getting some pretty solid kills, though I think Viper probably could have handled that by himself.
Yeah, it definitely might have been true, but just get it faster. Make sure that there are no support rotations or no time for them at least to come out from the enemy team. And without the Viper Strike, I think the arrow might not have landed, but just makes little difference. And now, top lane, Nihis might be in trouble again. Ace, he wants to go in, but Chip's Iron, he's around, and suddenly Nihis double Ion Shell again, and everybody's running away from him.
It's hard to fight up against double Ion Shells, though the Enigma's conversion is probably one of the best tools that you could ask for in order to deal with those Ion Shells. You just, convert the creep or whoever has the Ion Shell on them, and then suddenly no more Ion Shell, which is really nice. We do see a rotation from MYM. They're going to put Ira down on the bottom lane and exchange him for Baby Knight in mid. But again, the Ember Spirit versus the Viper is not really a fun matchup, especially when the Viper is already level 7 and your Ember is only level 5. Ira is going to try to go deep for Blue Banana, but he does not know that there's a fissure behind him, which is going to perfectly hit him. There's no follow-up stun, but the Plasma Field at max range, and Ira is going to go down for the 3rd time this game. This Death Prophet is almost going to be a non-factor if she doesn't get her act together.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on tilt or something because he has died twice in the mid lane, but he went so aggressive. He was hoping for like 1 or 2 more right clicks and the creep spawn to be able to finish up Blue Banana, but he just went so deep and suddenly, whoops, no creep wave to tank it up for him. And the Earthshaker, of course, he had a sneaky position as he is at the side shop, just being in the trees there. And Earthshaker well played by him, and just a little bit of overextension from Era.
And to be fair, though, for Era, I mean, you never expect a random support to be in the side shop. That pretty much never happens. So you're going in for that deep. 9 times out of 10 probably would have been him getting out just fine, but unfortunately that 1 time out of 10 ultimately led to his death as Baby Knight is now going to take him the Viper Strike in mid. Chip going to throw the arrow, perhaps we'll hold on to it for a little longer and we'll throw it. Baby Knight does dodge it, but he's still taking a lot of poison damage. His shield blocking most of it, and it looks like he might take down, bottling up at the trees. He'll be just fine. Malphite onto the Viper, taking a little bit of damage there, but the Ember Spirit does fortunately manage to escape. If Mirana hit the arrow, that definitely would have been a kill, but unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. As Ace now on the bottom lane has a Chronosphere, going to drop it onto Blue Banana, pop off the Mask of Madness, and just go to town on this Razor. This should be a free kill, as it is for Faceless Void. Getting a couple of lucky bashes in there, killing off the Razor a little bit quicker, as someone actually did cancel the TP. I don't know who that was, but they forced out 135 gold, and they get a kill on the Razor.
Yeah, and they might even lose the tier 1 at least. The tier 1 definitely will suffer just some considerable damage Era. Level 1 Exorcism, level 2 in Witchcraft only as well, so nothing too major, but any damage done to towers is always good. And man, 3 to 5 now, 8 minutes in on the board, but the 3 highest last hitters still belong to HEHE as well. I mean, Tarks are just up there together with Viper, who is putting some pressure on the mid tier 1 himself. Siege Creep helping out a little bit. And an arrow, oh, arrow, not gonna hit this time.
Yeah, that is very fortunate that it didn't hit, because if it did, definitely would have been his death. And, well, 4 deaths for your Death Prophet is, well, just a little bit worse than 3. Still not good, but HEHE are going to successfully defend their bottom tier 1 tower. It's dropped about half of its HP. Not a terribly huge deal for them, especially knowing that they're up against Death Prophet, as Baby Knight does jump in for Hua on the mid lane. Baby Knight does hit the chains, and then Ace is there with the bashing action. Needs another bash. He's going to get Viper struck, but I don't think it matters because he has a haste rune. Here comes the Darkseer, but I don't think he could actually do anything here. The Ember Spirit's shield is going to time out in the meantime. The Earthshaker does get a kill on Ira again. I don't know what happened there. Was watching mid, but it looks like the mid lane is going to die down, although Bland going to get vacuum back. Looking for a Black Hole. Can't do it because he set up a Midnight Pulse first. A little bit of greed from the Enigma is going to give the Darkseer a free kill.
Just all around action happening. I mean, 11 kills, 9 minutes in. I guess I have seen way more kills happen, but it's definitely up there as far as action goes. And looking at the network now, the Darkseer and the Viper, they are looking extremely good. And even though the Viper died, at least they get something in return. And I mean, Faceless Void, he has brown boots. Now probably gonna go for the power treads as no Chip Sign. Just toys around with Baby Knight. He has the leap, so he should be safe. He even has the Moonlight Shadow, so They can just stage and escape quite easily next time around. But Ace, he time walks in, he uses the Chronosphere as well. I'm not too sure if he himself will be enough, and the arrow is flying as Ace. Nicely dodged by Fluvan, he's still alive, static link activated. There's the Fissure as well. Do they have enough damage? Moonlight Shadow comes out as Ace has to escape. The Plasma Field actually ticks him down. Man, just Mask of Madness, it can be a double-edged sword.
Fire as well as Chip in there, protecting the Razor during the Chronosphere. It's really hard to hit an arrow during the Chronosphere, especially after the max movement speed change for the Faceless Void when the Chronosphere is up, but at the very least you could peel the Faceless Void off of your friendly for a couple of seconds, and well, Fire actually held on to his Fissure for quite a long time, so kind of greedy up on top lane. Rise is going to get a little bit of harassment, but not that much. But yeah, Fire held on to his Fissure a lot longer than I thought he would. He waited until the Chronosphere was going to be up so that he could drop the Fissure after the Razor got his static link off. So they knew that the Razor was going to live in that exchange, and they knew that they could turn around, so just well played by this Earthshaker and the Razor together, knowing the extent of the tankiness of this hero.
Yeah, I mean, they really need like +1 to be there from the get-go, not just have to wait for a 2.5 second TP to help out into the Chronosphere. But now, Rise, he was soaking up enough XP top lane, so he has himself a Mystic Flare now, and that just makes getting kills that much easier. I mean, Ancient Seal onto the Darkseer, getting Searing Chains and Mystic Flare, Darkseer down.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy kill for them at this stage. However, Darkseer, it looks like he's going to be going for a pipe for his team. Once that happens, Mystic Flare suddenly doesn't become as impressive when you're launching it on the Darkseer. But of course, everyone else on HEHE are going to be hit really hard by that, as now him and Baby Knight Rise, they're going to be looking for the Darkseer, but I don't think they're going to find him. The Darkseer playing rather defensively in his own jungle. MYM, they're mobilizing up on top. They have a double damage on Ember Spirit, plus they should have an Exorcism, though Death Prophet's the only one who's not here. I don't know if they could take this tower. Darkseer's going to teleport out, but they're just going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, they actually might be able to take it unless he wants to TP in, but they don't really have the best heroes to just TP in and like pop Ravage or something to buy time for the other TPs to come in. So they're just going to go for the trade. They want to take tier 1 bottom lane and maybe even mid lane as Hava. Trying to push it out. I mean, he doesn't have the best creep clear, being a Viper after all, but he has a mech if he wants to keep some creep wave alive. And oh, Fire, he's coming in as well. Oh man, I fear for Era's life now.
I've been fearing for Era's life for this entire game. The Fissure is a little bit off the mark, does hit onto Rise, but that's not the target that Fire really wants to go for. So far, it's a 1-for-1 trade. The tower on the mid lane is fairly weak, though. HEHE don't really have that much pushing power. Still, Ace and Bland up on top. They're going to continue pressuring that tower with the maxed out Eidolons, but they've got to watch out in this mid lane because Chip is off to the side, and if he could land an arrow, that'll be a very easy set of kills, or at the very least initiation. Blue Banana up on top will successfully defend that, as he are going to make this ultimately a 2-for-1 tower trade, so they're getting the upper hand in the towers.
Yeah, and them being on the dire side as well, just being able to take any towers down to limit the access into Roche Pit, or just slow it down, can be a huge thing. Of course, they don't really have the best Roshan lineup at all, but maybe if Mirana like picks up a Medallion of Courage, he can speed it up considerably. Darkseer going for a straight up pipe as well, so they already have the mech on Hava on the Viper. So if they get like a 50-minute mech and pipe, the fight, it's going to be so hard for Meteor Makers to actually burst through those heals.
I would really like to see a Medallion on Mirana, not only for the Roshan, which would be pretty nice for the HEHE squad, but also the fact that Razor has Static Link, Eye of the Storm, which is pure physical. Viper does a lot of physical damage as well. If you get even more flowing with that Medallion, then you're going to be golden. And Mirana's usually on the outsets of the fight anyway, so that minus armor on her, not really going to be a terribly huge deal. They are going to go for Roshan. They have a good amount of tanking power due to this Viper, but really the damage isn't that high. So this Roshan, though it is going to be fairly safe, is going to be fairly slow. MYM, though, it doesn't seem like they know what's happening, so he have all the time in the world.
Man, buff Razor, make Static Link work on Roshan. How sick would that be, though? That would be so overpowered, but I mean, it's not the fastest, but I have seen slower Roshans happen, I guess, and as long as the rest of HEHE are still getting some kind of farm on the rest of the map, it's gonna be fine. Another arrow comes in, just to make sure that they don't have to tank it up too much, and Mirana can even pick up an Invis room potentially and go farm up bottom lane, so they're not losing too much, they're not trading any towers for it as well, so all is good.
Yeah, Static Link worked on creeps, then Razor really played a lot like Links. Bland is going to run straight to the Darkseer in the dire jungle. Has a black hole, but he's setting up for Rise. There's a black hole, Mystic Flare, and a whole bunch of magic damage. However, that hood giving Darkseer a lot of survivability. Fissure will save him. Darkseer does survive. Fissure now onto Rise. He's still stunned up due to the arrow. Chip's going to jump forward with the Echo Slam to finish him off. Here comes Blue Banana. Will secure the kill onto that Enigma Chronosphere just to ensure the retreat as Ace does teleport out safely. They invest 2 ultimates and a whole lot of time on this Darkseer, and they don't even get him. Hood of Defiance providing some serious value for this Darkseer.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I mean, I wouldn't have believed that. Oh man, that arrow almost landed even though the Remnant was used, but nonetheless, I wouldn't have thought that even with the hood he can survive that. I guess level 1 Mystic Flare isn't as powerful as I thought, and I mean, Meteor Makers 10-4 behind, 15 minutes in, looking at the graphs, they are 8,000 gold behind already, 7k almost in XP as well, so they definitely have the commanding lead so far. But Meteor Makers, we have yet to see something like a Chronosphere into Black Hole, and of course the fact that the Death Prophet is struggling as hard as she is, or he is, doesn't really help them.
Yeah, that combination is very potent. You gotta remember that HEHE, they already have the mech up, so there's that. They have to burst people down or make sure the Viper is dead or whatnot. They'll also very shortly have the pipe up. Actually, Darkseer, does he have it flying out to him? Yes, he has the pipe now completed. So any magic damage from, you know, the Crypt Swarms or the Skywrath Mage, a lot of that is going to be buffed out due to that green barrier. So it's going to be really difficult for MYM to just get enough damage, and all the while they're going to have to worry about Viper, who's doing some pretty serious hurt with that Nether Toxin, and this Razor, only level 2 static link, but he's hitting pretty hard as well. HEHE are just in a commanding lead at this point, and they're going to recognize that and just barrel down the mid lane.
Yeah, I think it's smart as well. I mean, if you have such a lead, like you mentioned, and you have those items, you have all the team fight, you have drums, pipe, mech, even an Urn of Shadows now up on Chip Science Mirana. So they literally have everything that they could possibly need. And now he wants to go aggressive onto Ace. Not the best target, of course, he can just time walk away, which he does as well. But just the fact that Nihis himself can make 2 heroes just completely back off. I mean, yes, Fire, they probably spotted him as well, but the Darkseer is just so scary at this point.
Blink Dagger, though, picked up on Earthshaker. He's getting a lot of gold. He hasn't actually died a single time, which is kind of uncharacteristic for support Earthshakers, but regardless, he is going to have that Blink Echo. Last one was used to, you know, decent effect. I don't know how many heroes it actually hit, but hey, it secured a couple kills, so it couldn't have been that bad. But now with that Blink Fissure, Blink Echo Slam, it's going to be, at the very least, a very easy way to cancel off a Black Hole, because you'll always be in position as Earthshaker, and you probably shouldn't be close enough to get Black Hole in the first place.
Yeah, and actually, Hava just threw out a Viper Strike onto Baby Knight, but he just remnanted away, disjointed it, but another time walk away Ace. He's safe for the time being, but already down to half HP. And will he just...
Top lane.
Oh man.
Yeah, top lane is just a very easy concussive shot combination onto the Mirana. They'd use all their skills, but hell, it was a kill nonetheless. But it might be a kill on the Mirana at the expense of their tier 2 tower. In the meantime, the Era Death Prophet's still trying to work down this tower mid. He will secure that one and does have a haste rune, so Viper can't really do anything to kill this Death Prophet. Looks like she'll be getting out just fine after taking down that tower. Baby Knight and Bland still up on top, and HEHE, they're just not pushing fast enough. They're going to not get any wins. They might get a win on this bottom tier 2 tower, but this is at the trade of their own.
Yeah, actually they still spot Era. Fire is there, but he's only alone, and now TP is coming in. Can they get the Chrono onto 2 heroes? Ace is there. Nope, he's not going for it yet, and he has to back off. He just took way too much damage before going for the Chrono, so tower went down. Chrono is on cooldown as well, and just nothing used for it, and they saved tier 2 top as well, so in the end, they won't mind it.
You don't want to be jumping into a Chronosphere when Eye of the Storm is active, when there's an Ion Shell, because when you pop the Mask of Madness during a Chronosphere, the thought process there is no one's going to be hitting me because they're all paused. That's unfortunately not the case when an Ion Shell is up. So the MYM side, they don't end up taking the top tier 2 tower. Now that HEHE, they're going to be cracking back. At the very least, they'll take the top tier 1. But I think with all the team fight items that they have assembled, they can potentially go for even more.
Yeah, and actually both Hawa as well as Blue Banana, they're only 1000 off finishing their Aghanim Scepters. And well, the Aghanim Scepter, or overall the Eye of the Storm, is also, I think, that can still damage the Faceless Void in the Chrono. So it's not a good life for a Faceless Void, but he is maybe going for a BKB, although it can still be turned into a Maelstrom as well, the Mithril Hammer that he has.
Either way, they need this Faceless Void to get a little bit more. He's right on the middle of the gold per minute chart, so he's farming okay, but you don't want your Faceless Void to be farming okay. And I mean, to be fair, he was up against Darkseer early on. It's a very tough lane for him as they do go for the Darkseer on the bottom end. He does pop the pipe, and I don't think they're going to get this kill, although Silenced Up, taking a lot of just physical damage from Ira's double damage. That's going to be a kill on the Darkseer. He has bought time for the rest of his team to take down the top tier 2, but they're still going to go for this bottom tier 1. There's just tower trades all over the place. Still 4 heroes on the bottom for MYM, but HEHE, they're going to fall back, and with the Blink Echo Slam, they're going to look to defend this, although it looks like MYM, they're not going to push their luck.
Yeah, they just back off. I mean, they just got the Blink now and Enigma. Era is going to have his Yule Scepter Ace. Is his Maelstrom flying out as well? Yes, it is. So, they get their next set of items, but then again, Hava, as his Aghanim Scepter, Blue Banana, needs another 200 gold for it only. And I think with those items, they can just group as a 5-man unit, and they only have one outer tower to bring down. So just map control wise, and especially since HEHE, they're on the dire side as well, the next Roshan should also easily go in their favor unless Meteor Makers just make something huge happen. And we were talking that Faceless Void, he has a moderate amount of farm, yet he's the highest farmer in their team at the moment.
Yeah, and that's not really what you want to have happen. That's really the shortcoming of the Death Prophet, having 4 deaths. The Death Prophet, at this stage, should be near or at the top. But as it stands right now, she's closer to the bottom than she is up there. So, unfortunately for her, she's not going to be a huge factor. Though still level 2 Exorcism, doesn't really matter how much farm you have. It will still do a lot of damage if left unchecked by HEHE. Though it looks like their Darkseer might be going for a Blink Dagger as he's holding on to 2100 gold. That'll be a pretty big item to get initiation as Ace does have a Chronosphere, but again, that Ion Shell making it difficult for him to sit safely in that. Fire is going to find a courier and then blow it up with an enchant totem. Literally, it exploded because that's what that courier type does. I don't even know what it's called. Death Prophet hiding in the trees should be fine, although Fire is giving chase. He has to throw a fissure like right now. It's not going to happen. They get a courier kill in exchange for their Darkseer, who is still fairly vulnerable to this physical damage.
He actually died pretty damn fast there. Just the attack speed coming out from the Faceless Void is pretty damn strong already with Mask of Madness activated. And Hava now, if he's not careful, he might get surrounded, but nope, not gonna happen, it looks like. But really, this courier, I'm gonna check it out, what courier it actually is, when it respawns, because that animation was pretty sick.
Yeah, it literally exploded. Like casters say, someone's gonna get blown up, but that courier actually just went up in flames. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for that one to come back up too. In the meantime, top lane MYM, they have Exorcism available. The tower is pretty damaged already, so they really don't want to do that. Although jump in from Ace as well as Bland. However, Echo Slam in response, Fire on Fire is going to completely save the entirety of this tower. Ira still alive with the Exorcism, but Ace is already dead on the floor. Ira very quick with the Phase Boots plus Yule Scepter should be able to survive, but they hold onto the 2-2 tower, now in deny range. What a play coming out from this Earthshaker.
He just turned everything around in there. He's still not in the clear as well. You can just follow the spirits to know where he is. Plasma Field comes out, 2 more right clicks, that's all they need. And Blue Banana will even pop his ultimate just to make sure he has enough. So in the end, a 3-for-1 exchange. Tower gets denied as well. And yes, it's sad that Nihis died, but he brought up his Blink Dagger before and I mean, just worked out being the perfect bait there.
Baby Knight's going to take an arrow to the face. In the mid lane, though, the shield will absorb all that damage. The Viper Strike will be dodged, and Viper Strike will go really, really far. And can you actually dodge that with the Ember Spirit? I think if you are jumping into the Viper Strike, you could dodge it, but you can't if you're jumping away.
Yeah, he definitely dodged it last time around, or not last time maybe, but 5 to 7 minutes ago or so. But at the moment, he even tried to just dodge into it after first going it back to his own side of the river, but was unable to do so. So the timing was a little bit off. So it's not the easiest thing to do, and Viper, well, he can spam them out every 12 seconds. So the Remnants, they definitely don't refresh fast enough.
Yeah, Ember Spirit only has 1, and I think he's going to want to have that for the... well, he does have 1 as backup, so he could keep poking with Sleight of Fist, though it is only level 2, so it's probably not going to hit that many people from HEHE. They're just going to slowly chip down this tower. Aghanim Scepter, Razor doing a little work there. Ace does jump in, though he doesn't have enough mana for a Chronosphere. Ace needs mana. There it is. Tread switching into Intelligence. He's going to drop a Chronosphere onto 3, plus the Missile Flare onto the Viper, but he's very tanky. Blue Banana's going to be the first one to fall. Bland trying to get in there with the Black Hole. The wall does go up, plus the Vacuum Black on Bland, as well as Rise. They're going to jump forward, try to kill off Era, but the Black Hole onto 3. There's just no follow-up fire. Will cancel off with the Fissure. Now they're going to eat Era, as well as Bland. Who else is left? It's the Ember Spirit in the woods. I think they should let him go. It looks like jump forward from Darkseer. They're going to be forced to let him go, but they will secure the tier 2 tower in the end. The Viper does live. Only the Razor, who is, surprisingly one of the most vulnerable heroes on the HEHE side, going down. but they keep everyone else alive, and they could even go for a little bit of damage on the tier 3. I don't think they'll be able to secure it, but that's a win for HEHE.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, the black hole was pretty good, but by that time, Meteor Makers, they really didn't have anything left anymore, and the Exorcism came out just as the Fissure was coming up from fire to stop the black hole. And of course, by that time, Era was so low on health already that the Exorcism literally lasted for like 2 seconds. And now, even if he respawns, his Exorcism will be on cooldown, and of course, without the Exorcism, it's going to be hard to drive them back. There's no black hole, there's no chronosphere, and they might even bait it out. Oh, an arrow lands on Baby Knight, they're gonna turn it around indeed. Fire goes with a nice Fissure, Baby Knight trying to escape for the timing, actually barely makes it out the poison, still ticking him low, but he's alive, and now Fire just comes in with the Echo Slam. They clean up Ace, and oh man, Hava, he still got the kill on Ember as well in the end.
At level 2, Viper Strike doing some pretty serious work. HEHE, they still have a whole bunch of momentum in this lane. No black hole to worry about. Exorcism not yet up either. But it looks like for now they're not healthy enough to feel comfortable fighting this one. So they're going to make the responsible decision and fall back because their courier has just spotted that Roshan is indeed back up. So they're going to probably make a beeline for that one. But they take a huge fight. MYM just with not enough damage, not enough gas in the tank. And I think unfortunately, the fight could have gone very well for them if the Faceless Void jumped in with Chronosphere mana. It would have caught the Razor and Viper a lot more out of position, so he would have been a little bit scrambling just a little bit more to find themselves a good fight. But unfortunately, the tread switching came a little bit too late. Fortunately for the Faceless Void, he eventually did get it down. If they didn't get it down because of lack of mana, that would have been just a clean sweep of MYM.
Yeah, but still, it's really a mistake that you can't afford to make at the moment. I mean, they were already behind, so they just needed a perfect fight, really, to just completely wipe HEHE off the face of the earth. But, I mean, Exorcism, they really need the Death Prophet to just have almost the full duration of Exorcism in the team fight. Just go berserk with that. Because at the moment, look at the net worth. Even the Earthshaker has surpassed anybody on Meteor Makers.
That's gotta feel terrible. Somehow this Earthshaker still has yet to die. He's holding on to a Mystic Staff, and now Rai's gonna take an arrow, though I don't think there's any follow-up from this. Chip's gonna jump forward, is already invisible due to the Mirana ulti. Rai's gonna drop a Sentry Ward as he does, in fact, retreat. Blue Banana really wants in with the Force Staff, but I don't think they're gonna catch him. They're pretty quick, and if this arrow lands, they will kill him off. Razor with the drums, plus just high movement speed in general, is gonna catch Rise and then zap that bird down. Super effective right there. They get a free kill on the Skywrath Mage, and instantly TP down towards the mid lane, while possibly looking to go for a kill on Ace, but possibly trying to look for the tier 3 tower as well.
Oh wow, I mean, Baby Knight, he still does not even have his first Battle Fury. It's 26 minutes in already. I mean, he's not that far off, needs another 300 gold or so, but man, it's gonna be so late. Oh, blinking Echo Slam the Fissure as well. Fire, he got the solo kill. Ace was there with the Chronosphere, but just a millisecond too late. And now, can he get the counter kill? If he can, it's gonna be the first death of Fire. He gets the stun, goes for the right click. There's the vacuum there, but Pipe a little bit too late. No mech either. And he's time walked up. Can he actually make the escape? They have Yules to just throw knees up in the air if need be. They won't go for it, but man, a support Earthshaker solo killing up an Ember.
From behind, Razor is going to come in, and Death Prophet does, Enigma does kill a kill on the Mirana in the meantime. Ira, though, is stuck in a very awkward position, is getting a lot of damage drained out. Of course, Razor's going to be hitting like a truck straight after. They need more slows in this Death Prophet. Plasma Field not in range. This Death Prophet is really quick, but a jump forward from the Dark Seer is going to put the Death Prophet within range of the Ion Shell and get the kill for the Razor. It's a 2 for 2 in the end. Unfortunately, the heroic Earthshaker did end up falling. I don't really know what happened up top. Actually, they used a black hole for that one. That was a huge commitment going for the Mirana. They get her, but that's 3 minutes where the black hole is now down. HEHE have an opening off of that.
Yeah, they most certainly do, and they're probably gonna take it as well. I mean, they have the Aegis, so why not push at the moment? Viper Strike will just go on to Ace, but he should still be safe. He's far enough, and now HEHE. They're probably making a beeline towards mid lane. Just guys, we already damaged the tier 3 pretty damn low from the previous push, so just finish it up, get the racks, and be done with it.
They also have the Aegis as well. Chip is not in the area, and he looks like he's going to get ganked up again as he's now silenced. Time walk. Ace is going to lay the hurt down. Mirana's going to try to force that out, but I don't think she's going to escape. She will go down, and MYM, if they had the Death Prophet up here, then they could try to make a base race happen, but as it stands right now, Death Prophet is just now resurrecting, so she's going to be the only one to defend this. HEHE, at the very least, should be able to secure this tier 3 tower. And with the Razor with Aghanims just going to work, they'll be able to take a set of racks if MYM don't teleport back soon. They are slowly coming back. But HEHE, I think they're ready for this. They're already all piped up. They have the Aegis on the Viper. There's a Chronosphere up for Faceless Void, but the only two targets are Blue Banana and Hua. They will both get Chronosphere. Now the Mystic Flare will annihilate Blue Banana. The Fisher coming out a little bit too late. Hua dropping very low. He is going to lose his Aegis, it looks like. Thinking about Viper Striking, he will survive for now. But the range racks took a lot of damage in that exchange. Without the Razor alive, though, I think they're going to want to back off. However, they do have Blink Echo Slam with the vacuum onto 2. Instantly, Baby Knight goes down. Kiilstofte does go off with the Death Prophet, trying to save himself for a little longer, but the Viper Strike will kill her off in the end. Ace is going to come right back in, though. HEHE have overstayed their welcome. Fire's going to get bashed up, and it looks like this will be the second death for the heroic Earthshaker, as Bland does jump forward with that Blink Dagger and will get a kill on the Earthshaker. Hua still alive on another Viper Strike shortly, but he's completely surrounded by MYM heroes. Ace is going to jump to the south, and it looks like the Viper is unable to give chase. No spells coming out of him due to the Ancient Seal. Arrow will be thrown. Good attempt, I guess, from Chip. But in the end, they get the tier 3 tower, but they take a really poor team fight. The worst team fight, I would say, that HEHE have fought this far.
Yeah, it definitely didn't go or end up as they expected, probably. So, they didn't lose too much at least either. They lost the Aegis though, and at least range racks are so damn close to falling. I do believe that they might just fall back now, wait for the next Roshan even. It is still quite some time away from respawning. And Meteor Makers, they have BKB up on Bland's Enigma now, so it makes it a lot easier to just have a guaranteed black hole or a full duration black hole being channeled. But can you actually get into position like that and get it down properly? That's the question. But Aghanim Scepter on Faceless Void as well. So their teamfight is still pretty scary and just going high ground against that. And last time as well, Meteor Makers, they just waited for the pipe to end. Mech was used before as well, so there was no burst heal or just the pipe to mitigate magic damage coming out. And as far as HEHE, do you think that they actually might have to invest into a BKB or two?
What do you think about this item build from the Razor? He has the Refresher Orb recipe plus the Oblivion Staff on the Courier, but he's going to get jumped upon, and I don't know if I like this Refresher Orb pickup from him because of exactly what we just saw in the bottom lane.
I mean, I'm not too sure what would actually save him from that. Maybe a BKB if he was fast enough before the Chronosphere came out. And overall, I wouldn't mind really BKB in general. Shiva's card is picked up in the Earthshaker in the meantime, but actually I do believe something like an Assault Cuirass would be a great asset on HEHE's team overall. Whether it should be the Razor to pick it up, that's another question, but a Refresher Orb, and especially starting with the recipe as well, it is a little bit iffy.
As a Refresher Orb is great if you could actually just safely sit there and chip away at the tower with that nice ultimate, but in the end, he's been Chronosphered and Mystic Flared, I think, almost 100% of the time that there's been a team fight. So Razor hasn't actually been doing anything with his ultimates, aside from it doing a little bit of damage during that Chronosphere duration. So though he will be able, on paper, to take down the Raxes really quickly with that Aghanim's building damage double ultimate, he's just not getting the free time, as Ace now going to jump forward and find the Darks here. Chronosphere has been used, but it is Aghanimed up, so he's not going to care too much. He's just going to slowly beat down this Darks here, and a jump forward from Baby Knight will secure the kill. However, he jumps right into an arrow. Now a Viper Strike from this Viper. Baby Knight has one more Remnant, but it's walking really, really slowly. It's a free kill for the Viper, actually, in exchange for the Darks here. But I think that's going to be okay for HEHE to try to put some more pressure down mid. They know that the Chronosphere is going to be down for just shortly after this. The Aghanim Scepter Chronosphere has a low cooldown, but it should still be down, and now Razor is going to get some serious value out of the Eye of the Storm. This should be ranged racks at the very least.
Yeah, it definitely will go down, I think. And man, it feels like he dies pretty damn often on the Darks here, but every time he goes down, they get something in return at the very least. And Viper Strike on to Rise, and now Era, he comes in with a level 3 Exorcism, actually Blue Banana is dropping low, there's the Black Hole coming out as well, Mystic Flare to follow and fire, he blinks in, can't even go for the Echo Slam, attacks to the Black Hole and Blunt. He is dropping down low to the physical damage, but Mech keeps him alive, and Era now, Viper struck up, will he go down, Hama? Yes, he will take care of the Death Prophet at the very least, but Razor, he's down once again, no way off the Storm, there's another Chronosphere chip sign, he's gonna fall, and Viper, is he gonna be tanky enough to face Ace? It's a, well, I don't actually think so, and now Viper struck up, Hava, he's on the run, Fire, he's back as well, but Baby Knight, he gets the Searing Change, there's the Echo Slam, but it's only on one hero, no creeps around. Oh man, he still got the kill, are you kidding me?
Oh, the concussive shot killed him off right before the Blink Dagger was back up. HEHE, well, they do take the range racks in the end, put a lot of hurt onto the melee racks, but that's just going to slowly regenerate up. They are just getting eaten alive by this Faceless Void. I mean, he has Maelstrom and Mask Madness, so he's doing some pretty good damage, and now the Chronosphere is up every single time that MYM want to fight. I mean, MYM, they're certainly still behind, but if these Chronospheres keep landing like this, then Faceless Void goes unchecked, then they could very easily fight back into this game, especially since Darkseer and Earthshaker seem to have a little bit of miscommunication, as they're both going to go for Shiva's Guard. Not the worst item to stack, but definitely you would expect something a little bit different.
Yeah, completely agree with you there, and of course last fight he didn't even have the Darkseer there, so if the Darkseer was there, probably he could have just completely won that fight. I mean, having the pipe just helps so much already in itself. And wall vacuum, of course. And the biggest thing is that fire, he just blinked into the black hole. He was just on the edge of the black hole, but in the black hole nonetheless. So he didn't do too much, but his enchant totem just completely wrecked Baby Knight's face. Just enchant totem, one right click, and Baby Knight was like at least half of his HP gone immediately.
Earthshaker is level 19, so he is a much higher level of support than you would ordinarily see. Normally you would expect something at around level 14, which is the level of the Skywrath Mage, but he's getting his levels, and that means that every single level he gains, he gets a little bit more strength, which is amplified 400% by that enchant totem. It does slowly start to stack up, and this guy is going to be doing a lot of damage going forward, though only if he doesn't jump into those black holes. To be fair, the Enigma did have a BKB. That was the first time he revealed that item, so he probably were caught a little bit by surprise from that item being used, but you can't really be too surprised at that. They don't have anything to cancel off the BKB Enigma, so this could be a pretty big problem for them as long as the Enigma remains on point. They're going to look for Ace, and I don't think they spotted him in the trees. No, there's the pings. Arrow will fly, and Ace will dodge it. Jumping forward for the Chronosphere onto Chip, and Nihis is going to jump forward into the Chronosphere as well. Faceless Void could easily get that kill, but he's going to get Viper Struck instead. Has another Time Walk soon enough, but I don't think he's taking it to survive. He needs a couple more seconds to Time Walk into the trees, and then teleport out. Ace might survive. Vacuum not up. The wall's there. The Plasma Field. Ace, why aren't you teleporting out? He's going to get back into the wall. If he teleported out straight away, he would have been fine.
Yeah, he definitely would have. I guess he was expecting the vacuum to come a little bit sooner, or I mean, that must be the only reasoning. I have no idea why he didn't go for it. But in the meantime, 3 Heroes of Meteor Makers, or rather 4 even, they are knocking at the base. I'm not too sure if it's the best idea, especially if Fire is just hanging around. He's even smoked up just in case. But the Heroes leave, so Fire. He's still baiting it out. No Shiva's card, he wants to farm it up in the end. And Roshan, oh, it was a really long respawn, but about to respawn in 10 seconds time or so.
He should be able to secure that one pretty easily as the Faceless Void down for another 40 seconds, and Roshan, well, just resurrecting right now. So they, at the MYM side, if they want to contest this, it'll be without a Chronosphere, or at the very least it'll be 1200 gold in expense, getting that Faceless Void to buy back so that they can fight it with the Chronosphere. But if they go in for it right now, it'll be a free Roshan, though it looks like they are, for whatever reason, unaware of this Roshan or just not willing to go in. They should be looking to go in. However, Bland is going to get a black hole only onto the Darkseer, plus the Mystic Flare. This time they should have enough damage to bring him down. The Silence coming a little bit late, however, and that is going to get out of there as Bland getting zapped down by Blue Banana with that double ultimate from him. The Exorcism is going to chip away at him very hard, though, and it looks like they will be forced to back off as they do find Ember Spirit trying to reinforce his team in the meantime. Got caught out by a fissure combination from the Earthshaker, and with 2 down MYM, they are probably not capable of fighting off a Roshan fight anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure if HEHE will even go for the Roshan. I mean, yes, the double ultimate on Blue Banana is down now, and it did so much damage plan. He had the BKB activated, but Eye of the Storm, purely physical damage, and the minus armor coming out. And of course, there was double of it as well. Although, we did see that Death Prophet's Exorcism, if it's just focused on one target, it hurts a crap ton actually. I mean, the Razor, he had to run away from it. But, the Rax under trouble, and top lane, the kill of Era as well. Fire and Nihis just do it together, and mid lane Rax go down. So Meteor Makers, 3 heroes on the sidelines. Buyback is there on Death Prophet. But 13 seconds before Baby Knight comes back. There's no black hole, even if he does. Nihis picks himself up a Hex as well, and Hava, he had the Daedalus, but AC comes in, he catches 2 Blue Banana. He's going to get blown up immediately. Mystic Flare on his head, and now Hava can actually escape chip side. He runs into the Chronosphere, but the arrow landed on Ace before, and now Ace, he has to run away. 2 seconds for the time walk. He's gonna go down. Mask of Madness amplifies the damage too much, and Hava even gets a crit or 2 there.
Yeah, these supports from Fire are just so powerful right now. Chip has been landing his arrows consistently. He's on ward duty, but this Earthshaker, just together with the Darkseer, got a double kill on the Death Prophet. I guess duo kill, let's call that, working together to kill off that hero. That was without an Echo Slam. They just had enchant totem damage, fissure, and then just good chain stunning with the vacuum back on that hero. So, I mean, when your Death Prophet gets killed off that easily, then you know you're in trouble. But to be fair, Death Prophet, she doesn't actually have that much. She's 110 and 9. She's sitting on to 4,000 gold, but she's very, very vulnerable to the mixed damage of the Earthshaker.
Yeah, and Earthshaker, at least when he was level 19 and used the enchant totem, he was hitting over 660 damage actually. And for support, that is a lot of damage if you ask me. 624 now as well on Roshan coming out. And Hava, just... They all have so much DPS to be honest. I mean, Chipsign, yes, he's a support Mirana, he doesn't do much of anything. But even with the leap, he can just boost the attack speed of his teammates and be useful that way. Land some arrows every now and then. And I have no idea how Meteor Makers are actually gonna come back to be just huge black holes, I guess.
Yeah, they need this Faceless Void to just go nuts on everyone in the black hole. Not the black hole, the Chronosphere. If they get a black hole on top of that, then that'll be great. But so far, they've been consistently killing off this Razor during the duration of that Chronosphere. If they keep doing that, at the very least, that's what they need to be doing. However, at this point, killing off the Razor just isn't enough. They also have to focus their attention on the Earthshaker, and you wouldn't expect the game to progress like that, where the Earthshaker is one of the highest priority targets for MYM. Normally, Earthshaker at this stage would, have a Blink Dagger and maybe a Force Staff, but that's it. But this Earthshaker, level 21, is hitting like a truck. Look at this, 700 damage physical after enchanting his totem. That's an absurd amount of damage coming out from a pure support hero. Arrow does fly, will connect onto Ares, does teleport right into it. Fissure to follow up, and Ares is going to get slowly chipped down by Hua. Ace is going to get hexed immediately as he jumps in, looking for a Chronosphere. Can they bring him down without the Chronosphere being dropped? He will try for it, but it's not going to be time. Here comes Bland with the Black Hole, but only going to catch Blue Banana. Blue Banana is going to town with that ultimate. Fire's going to jump for an Echo Slam onto 2. Ear's going to buy back, but he's instantly going to go down. Chronosphere finally does come out. Ace is going to try to take out Chip, but if he does take the Mirana, that's not going to be enough. Fire, in the meantime, going to be focused down by Baby Knight. Another enchant totem, and Ace is going to get absolutely destroyed by his totem. Boom goes the Dynamite, triple kill for Fire. Double buybacks for MYM, and Baby Knight's the only one to survive. They're going to lose their bottom Raxes. They might even lose the game.
Man, I have to say Fire MVP there. I mean, this Earthshaker, I'm in love with those plays.
Earthshaker's plays, although they've kind of been handed to him, he's gotten a couple of free passes to live and stuff like that. He's just been on point. He's been holding on to his Echo Slam very patiently. He could have very greedily jumped forward on the after the first fissure onto the Death Prophet and tried to burst her down a little bit quicker, but he's remaining pretty disciplined. He's keeping himself a little bit further back, making sure that he's not going to get cut off by any Chronospheres or something like that, even completely bypass the Chronosphere in order to get an Echo Slam. And well, when you drop a Chronosphere, you expect your teammates to help out. They can't help out when there's an Earthshaker right on their face.
Yeah, and this is gonna be GG as well, probably. I mean, they already used 2 buybacks on the Death Prophet and the Faceless Void, so plan no black hole even to try to help anything. And HEHE, they will take game number 1. So I mean, it started off rather even, just kills going left and right. HEHE, though, just coming out slightly ahead in most exchanges that happened. They might even get another kill. Blan activates the BKB, but slowed down already, going for the TP out. Not really happening. Godlike on Hava's Viper, and just a good way to end the game for him, I guess.
Get the final kill. Yes, double kill for the Viper. Beyond godlike. That is going to force the GG out. So as it stands right now, HEHE going to be 1-0 up in this best of 3. So perhaps we have 2 more games. Hopefully we do, because it'll be kind of a bummer if it's just an easy 2-0 for HEHE. But that's going to be the end of game number 1. Unfortunately, the Death Prophet 1-12-11. Yeah, not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the entire team wants to just show us a better performance in game number 2, and we'll see if they can do so, because that's exactly where we're heading, guys. It's gonna come up in just a couple of minutes probably, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and if you enjoyed, be sure to follow us. You can find all the links below the stream, and see you guys in game number 2.
GG.